Welcome to the Dawgs Gambling Show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Week 5 upsets to bet. And I told you guys going into this year, it will be volatile. And this video might be the most important transmission of the week. We've been slamming the Vikings every week, but you'll see we're going different. Let's get to the first game. We're going to London. We got the New York Jets at the Minnesota Vikings. Jets plus 2.5. Listen, I'm impressed by my Minnesota Vikings. And they've been on this every single week. And I think Sunshine Sam Darnold has been the revelation of the NFL. And I think when you look at O'Connell and Brian Flores, that's the best coaching staff in the league. But with that being said, it's an Alamo week, and this is an Alamo type situation for the Jets. If you look at this schedule coming up, I believe they got the Bills. I believe they got the Texans. They will be in dogfights, and they need to get down in their trench and respond. And yes, I did not like what I saw out of Aaron Rodgers or the Jets last week. But also, we're getting the old Aaron Rodgers memes that he's old. Listen, the issue with the Jets offense was firstly, pre-snap penalties. They get to the 1-yard line. 2 penalties, 2 false starts in a row, and you just can't win games that way. I felt like Rodgers made 3 very good throws down the field, but other than that, there wasn't a lot on offense. It was a sloppy game, and that's Salah's Jets. But I think they respond here, and we saw this with Flores' defense last year. Yes, when it started, it was potent. It was absolutely potent, and no one could deal with it. But as the season went on, as there was more film, you could find more answers. And I think Aaron Rodgers, in a do-or-die situation, I think he'll find the answers, and there needs to be more big plays on offense. We need to see more Garrett Wilson, and I think we'll see that. The most important thing to do against the Vikings is you have to run the ball. And if you don't run the ball against the Minnesota Vikings defense, it's going to be a long day. They struggled running against the Broncos. I think they get back to basics. Morgan Moses should be back. I think this offensive line is better than they showed against the Broncos. Give me the Jets in an Alamo type situation. And I don't mean to be melodramatic. Like, this isn't a soap opera or a film or a teen movie drama. But if you look at this Jets schedule, man, they have to win this one. And I love the Minnesota Vikings. I was bullish on them coming into the year. You guys saw the upsets video. But I just think like them winning 5 straight games against pretty damn good teams is a bit much. Next game, we got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Denver Broncos. Raiders plus 3. I think the Raiders win the game. I think the Jets win the game as well. It's just to make that clear. But I think the Raiders are getting the Broncos at the right time. Now, was I impressed with the Raiders' performance against the Browns? No, not really. But I was impressed by the fight this team showed. No Crosby, no Devontae Adams. They get down 10-0, and then they respond. Then they come back. And they would have won that game comfortably if it wasn't for a Zahir White fumble. That was absolutely horrendous. I'm looking at the Broncos. I've been impressed by their offensive line and their defensive line. And when you talk about the Broncos, you should mention Sean Payton and put respect on his name. But with that being said, I just think the Raiders have more talent. I think this is going to be a gritty game, and I think the Broncos have done great things. But I do think they get back down to their level. And when you have a quarterback like Bo Nix, I'm no Minshew fan. I tell you guys to fade him, but give me Minshew in this situation. I also like the Raiders' weapons better. I don't know if Devontae Adams is going to be out there, but I like Turner. I like Jacoby Myers. I like these two tight ends, and I think Bowers has a big game, and there's no Singleton in this Broncos front seven. I think the Raiders will run it. The Raiders are more physical. I like this one, man. It is a little bit vibes football club here, but I think the Raiders respond. And one thing you know you're going to get from this team is high effort. I think we see it. Raiders winning mile high. And also, can we be honest about this Raiders home field? It's like literally like a neutral field or worse. Like there was like 70% Browns fans in that thing. That's absolutely despicable. Next game, we're going to Arrowhead. We got the New Orleans Saints at the Kansas City Chiefs. Saints +5. Give me the Saints. I think the Saints can win the game. I do. I think it's going to be a one-possession game, and I like the way the Saints are playing. But before we get to the Saints, Rashee Rice, Pacheco, Hollywood Brown, they are not stepping onto that field. And yes, you always love to get behind Pat Mahomes. Do I like touching Chiefs games? No. Do I like touching Chiefs games in prime time? Absolutely not. But every rule needs to be broken, especially on an Alamo type week. And one thing I like about this Saints team, I like Kubiak. I like their run game, man. They really have some nice play action passes worked out of the run game, and we're seeing Carr play to a different level. And they had their backs against the wall against the Falcons. They didn't win the game, but they responded, and I felt like they had bad luck. And you guys know I'm bullish on the Falcons, but Saints probably should have stepped out in Atlanta with the victory. I just like this situation, man, and the way I want to attack the Chiefs defense, I'm different than other people. I know there's no LaMarcus Joyner this year, but the way I want to attack the Chiefs defense, I want to be run first. And I think the Saints are going to be able to do that. They were running it well so far this year. Against the Eagles, it didn't really go off, but the other games, they were absolutely imperious in the run game. Give me the Saints. I would not be shocked if they win the game. I absolutely love this spread. Next game, we got the Cleveland Browns at the Washington No Names. Browns +3.5. Okay, take this with a gigantic grain of salt. Put it down your throat. It's gonna taste salty. It's not gonna taste good. I haven't seen the betting splits. I imagine it's 92% on the Commanders. Okay, great. I love Jaden Daniels. Told you guys he would be a stud in this league. But also, I want to make something clear. Deshaun Watson has actually played good these last two games. It's like a lazy take to say, oh, Deshaun Watson's the biggest problem with the Cleveland Browns. In reality, their offensive line and lack of running game. Now, they should be getting Jedrick Willis back. They should be getting Conklin back this week. They should be getting David Njoku back. And I'm seeing Jerry Jeudy and Amari Cooper create tons of separation. There was a really bad hold that cost the Browns the game. It wasn't a holding penalty, but whatever. I know everyone likes to dunk on Deshaun Watson. I'm not going to get on here and defend him. But like I said, I think he's playing better than people think. And I just wonder, are we going to see a no-names let up? Are we going to see Nick Chubb be able to just push this game by the scruff of his neck? I know he's not going to get a lot of carries. I'm pretty sure he'll play. He's going to get 9, 10, 11 carries according to Stefanski. And I like that. I like the verb. I like the energy he provides. And this Browns team desperately needs it. And this Browns team should be fully healthy by week 7, but they got to win some of these games or it's going to be a long year. It's going to be looking like a 4 or 5 win year. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just saying don't be surprised if you're holding a Commanders -3.5, -3 ticket and you see Deshaun Watson waving that towel at you. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share the videos. The best gambling show on the internet. Get on Patreon. Come get this money with me. Big weekend coming. Get on there. Link in the description.